Welcome back to Autism at Home, brought to you by us at Early Autism Project Malaysia through our non-profit initiative, The Hope Project. My name is Joshabet Isaacs and welcome back to our series on preparing for school. In fact, this is the final lesson, which is all about finding a suitable school for your child. In this lesson, we will talk about some characteristics we look for in a school, then how to prepare the school, and of course, most importantly, how to prepare your child. And last but not least, also preparing your support team. So let's get started with the characteristics we are looking for in general. Firstly, language. In Malaysia, our national language is Bahasa Malaysia, and so it is the primary medium of language in our national schools. Yeah, betul. But the challenge is most of our kiddos actually learn in English. Yes, that is still true even if they are in a bilingual or multilingual family, primarily because of YouTube. Most of our kids tend to pick up English easily because of the sheer exposure online. You can always go back to our Starter Kit series on this in Unit 5 on using one language. Secondly, classroom size. Again, in Malaysia, our national schools can be quite large with over 30 students per class due to resources. This can be quite overwhelming for many of our children on the spectrum, and so we have found most do better with classrooms of less than 20. It's less crowded, less overwhelming, and hopefully the teacher is also able to be more attentive to our kiddos' additional needs. Then of course, how inclusive the school is. By now you may have picked up that in Malaysia we primarily work with private or international schools due to the language, classroom sizes, but most of all that most international schools here are quite inclusive, and some even have special education support teams. Some of the characteristics of an inclusive school include being able to accept 1 to 2 students per classroom with additional needs. This can be challenging for the school teachers to manage in addition to their regular teacher commitments, and some teachers may not be trained in special education support. Have teachers who have experience or training in supporting students with additional needs. Some schools even have an SEN, Special Educational Needs teacher or department. Now with these characteristics, then the school will be likely more open to supporting a child's successful transition to school, and this may look like a gradual transition, permission to use visuals, natural reinforcement, permission to adapt the curriculum, and most of all, the permission to provide a transition shadow or personal learning assistant, a PLA. Essentially allowing an individualized educational plan for that child with additional needs. Last but not least, it is a school that is in a realistic geographical location. We have a lot of traffic jams here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and it would be a waste of precious learning time for our kiddos to be in traffic 2 to 3 hours per day. Most of our families would try their best to get a school as close as possible, or in some cases even move their homes closer to the suitable school. Next, we move on to preparing the school. This essentially includes the initial application process. This is a great time to find out more about the school's policies, assess if the school is a right fit, go through the entrance assessment, and hopefully secure a slot for your child. Disclosure. Now, some parents we have worked with prefer not to disclose their child's additional needs. In Malaysia and probably many parts of Asia, awareness and acceptance is still building, and some parents may be concerned about the stigma or label that their child may have. And in some cases, the school may not be willing to consider their child at all. At EAP, we do encourage parents to be open with the school so that the school can actually be clear on the additional needs that their child may have and therefore be able to actually prepare accordingly. We would even encourage parents to share previous reports, be it progress reports, developmental assessments, and most importantly, your child's strengths, challenges, and strategies that have worked well. Now, in preparing for the transition, this is where it is really important to discuss what is the best way to successfully transition your child into the school. Primarily, does your child need a transition shadow? Some schools call this a personal learning assistant, PLA, or an aide. The idea is that there is a therapist assigned to your kiddo for a temporary period of time with the long-term plan to just aid in the transition ensure the child is successful, and then fade back. We would introduce this shadow as an additional classroom assistant to not draw so much attention to our student. If your child does need a shadow, then to discuss the school policies on this, especially around security, boundaries, and roles in the classroom. Secondly, does your child need a gradual transition? This means that instead of a full day, 5 days a week, perhaps your child just starts with 1 hour every day at the most successful times of the day, then gradually builds up to attending to 2 hours, and then half day, and then eventually the full day. Also, will the school allow our kiddo to come into school before the first day, just to build tolerance to the school, visit their classroom, and just get comfortable with the whole school environment? Thirdly, an adapted curriculum or structure. Now, earlier we mentioned some of our kiddos may still need the one-to-one coaching, and therefore they may need to be pulled out or attend for only half the day so that they can receive intensive one-to-one therapy the rest of the day. Some kiddos may be able to focus for just up to 5 to 10 minutes and then require a brain break or a stimming break or reward time. Fourthly, agreeing on the strategies that will be used. This includes visuals for communication, visuals for schedules, a token system primarily, as well as an agreement around natural reinforcements that will not be distracting to the other students in the class. Next, a behavior management plan. Assigning a buddy if possible to sit together and have breaks together. Then specific needs when it comes to dietary needs, allergies, toileting, and the list goes on. And lastly, a communication plan. This is with regards to daily updates between school and home, as well as communication to the children around the kiddo, as well as the shadow. Now it's time to start preparing our kiddo. Now by now you would have already been doing the last 6 lessons, and your child should have been already practicing mock school, following school routines, rules, independence, behavior, communication strategies, and the list goes on. So now it's time to actually practice the transition to school. So this includes that social story that we mentioned earlier with the picture of the school, specific classroom, the different locations like canteen, gym. Most importantly, some pictures of the school classroom, teacher, and if possible, classmates. Don't forget to include a countdown calendar so that you can foreshadow the days nearing to school. Then we start the visits to school. This is to desensitize and prepare your child for the first day. It could be as simple as driving past initially, then going in, visiting the different locations in the school, visiting the main classroom. This may even be more than one visit if your child needs more practice. Just adapt it to your child's needs. Then, of course, to practice specific school-related requirements if relevant, such as that wearing the uniform, carrying a backpack, their snack box, water bottle, essentially all the previous lessons in this series to simulate school. Last but not least, you're preparing your support team. And this essentially refers to that shadow that might be supporting your child in school. But it's also to work collaboratively with the after-school support. Typically at EAP, our programs are led by our supervisory team, who also has regular school visits and school meetings in order to ensure that the strategies are consistent at home as well as in the school, especially in those key areas of communication, behavior plans, and reinforcement. We also want to ensure that we're adapting the support programs such as additional support for academics, social skills, and sometimes there could even be specific school support such as simulating assemblies, preparing for sports day, as well as concerts. Then when it comes to the shadow, to ensure that the shadow is trained in basic ABA principles, has attended a school shadow training, and importantly is aware of the strategies specific to that child, including the individualized education plan. The shadow also needs to be briefed on their role and the school teacher's roles, the professionalism aspects, overall boundaries, ethical practice, and any school-specific policies such as dress code or in particular security. Now finally, it's your turn. If your child is showing readiness for school, list out all the potential schools for your child to enroll in. Then write down all the pros and cons of each school based on the criteria to consider in your school selection, from the areas of language, classroom sizes. How inclusive is the school, particularly in the areas of admission of students with additional needs? Do their teachers have some training or experience with students with additional needs? Are they willing to make necessary adaptations? So for example, permission for a shadow, gradual transition, the use of visuals, natural reinforcement, and even willingness to adapt the school structure or curriculum accordingly. Then of course, geographic location. Then decide on a few options of schools and start the application process. Then you want to start the process of contacting the schools, preparing the school, preparing your child, and of course, preparing the team. Now, if you need any further support to make this decision or in preparing your child for school, do let us know in the comment section or contact us via autismathome.co. And now we've come to the end of this series, finishing with finding a school. We really hope that the lessons in this series have been helpful to you. From the introduction of is your child ready for school, setting up mock school, following rules and routines, communication strategies in school, independence, behavior regulation, and finding a school will truly provide you with all the necessary guidelines in preparing your child for school. Do comment below if you've been able to follow along and if it's been successful. Please do share with us your experiences and also your feedback. We would really love to hear from you. Till the next series, do take care and we will see you very soon.
Autism at Home is brought to you by the Hope Project, which is the non-profit arm of Early Autism Project Malaysia. All the content development, our clinical expertise and time is completely borne by EAP Malaysia, and the production of these videos so far are funded solely through donations and fundraising.
If you found these resources helpful and would like to contribute in some way, please do pledge a donation at autismmalaysia.com/the Hope Project.
Thank you very much for your support, and with the amount of interest we have received online, we have actually started providing online services and currently work with clients in other states of Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Switzerland, Indonesia, China and Brunei. Get in touch with us for more information by scanning this QR code.
If you haven't already, do check out our online resource platform, Autism at Home, which has all the lesson videos, corresponding articles, and downloadables available for you for free. Stay updated through social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Do click on the subscribe and follow buttons to get more information. Thank you for watching and we'll see you soon. Bye!